Before the beats became anthems, before the crowds roared their name, there was a dream, a vision that would go on to redefine the sound of Dominica. This is the story of TK International, a journey of passion, resilience, and the unbreakable rhythm of Bouyon music. In the late 1990s, Dominica was alive with the energy of Bouyon, a genre as vibrant as the island itself. But in a small community called Loda, a group of young musicians had a vision to take it further. With a name that echoes unity and strength, TK International was born.
Kendall Laura, aka most people know me in the music world as Killer. That was a name given to me. So creation of Triple K, well, it was me, Kendall, meeting up with two other guys from the village, Keenan and Kurt. Keenan, who went on being the guitarist, and Kurt being the bassman. Like, we started hanging out together, and Keenan could always play guitar because his uncle is a professional guitarist. He's in the States now. Kurt liked the bass. We used to go down by the church, and there's a guy that used to play in the church named Edgar Roll. Yeah, he used to play in the church, and they were fascinated. And he used to show them little stuff, but I had no one to show me keyboard. So we used to have bass, Keenan singing, and I'm drumming on pails or whatever it is, just drumming. That one day we went up, we were in the square. There's a square in Loda, like the main place where everyone will come out and hang out on a Sunday, like in the center of the village. And there's this big cable and wireless box. At the time it was cable and wireless. I think it's a telephone box. And we sat on the side of that, and we was just singing popular songs. And I drumming on that. I have a knife in my hand, like a little knife. I didn't have the knife. I just got a little knife from here, drumming on it and thing. And then Alfie, Len, and Matthew came around, and he started singing, and fellas was doing like a thing, and a crowd of people there, and they're like, wow, let's make a band, man. We just decided, yeah, we're gonna call ourselves Triple K.
Behind the electrifying performances and unforgettable anthems are the people who bring them to life. Each member of TK International has a story, a role, and a unique contribution to the band's unmistakable sound. Let's meet the heart and soul of TK International.
And I'm the lead keyboardist, rhythm programmer, coordinator of the band, and band leader.
I'm Jason Joseph, also known as Froggy. I'm part of the Triple K band, and I'm the drummer. I'm the one who makes basically the most noise on stage.
All right, my name is Wayne Benjamin, better known as Mr. Benji. Some people call me M2O for short because I'm all about speed. I'm the lead singer for TK Band International for 20 years running now.
I am Ole Hamilton. I am the guitarist for Triple K International. Many people would know me, of my work at Cultural Division, also playing the accordion and all of the traditional instruments.
My name is Geoffrey Joseph. I am popularly known, I would say, as JJ Youth. I am celebrating 20 years in Triple K Band, rebranded as TK International. I started as rhythm keyboardist and background vocalist. I progressed into doing some lead vocals, then into administration of the band when we had a different management structure. And then from 2017, I would say I was elevated to the manager of the band. So I've been manager of the band from 2017 to current. Plus I still keep on doing my musical requirements, which is playing keyboard and singing as well.
My name is James Rodney, also known as J West, also known as Floyd, Simple Squaddy, and I am the road manager, events coordinator for Triple K TK International.
Daniel Philip, better known as Ed Rochelle. I started Triple K in 2007 as a bass player. Prior to that, I was a touring engineer, doing work for different artists and sort of that. But I started playing Triple K in 2007 as a bass player.
Well, you don't know, this is your boy Sonic Tazi, better known as David Judge, one of the vocalists in Triple K Band International.
Together, they form the heartbeat of Bouyon music. Individually, they are the threads of a vibrant tapestry, each bringing their unique flair to the band. But before they were TK International, they were kids with big dreams, from tapping rhythms on school desks or belting out melodies in church choirs. Their love for music started early, nurtured by family, culture and the rhythms of Dominica itself.
It's just a love for music. Since I was small, I just used to, I was always fascinated by music. I didn't know why. I don't know, and after watching bands like, I didn't want to say WCK because it wasn't WCK yet, but like a Rough and Ready and like Kadas music, because I grew up in Loda. We used to hear a lot of Kadas music, so Midnight Groovers, Exile One, and Loda High. So we used to get a lot of the French stations from Martinique and things, so like the Luc Leandre, Frankie Vessin. We used to get plenty of French music there. So I was always like that kind of zouk music and that stuff. And when I started getting older, I was fascinated by the trucks, seeing the trucks on the road like WCK and the Serenades, seeing the trucks on the road playing the music. So I was always fascinated by that. And I was curious at first. I didn't want to play music, but I was just curious. And then the first person I saw actually started playing keyboard. And I was like, wow, what are you doing there? It was Tazi, our lead singer. He used to come by our cousins and then play their little keyboard. And he used to come and check in on them. So in doing that, they had a keyboard there, like a Casio keyboard. He used to be playing, and he used to be playing that Rough and Ready song. I check it. So at that time I said, that's like a star. And that is where I started playing music. Yeah, I tried playing music, but I was always a drummer. I like to drum on stuff. And it's like fast forward to like a couple of years after, that is when I picked up like actually having interest in keyboard, and my mom bought me my first keyboard for $700. It was a concert mitt. Yeah, I went to the other village, Trafalgar, and I bought that, and yeah, that's when I started playing music myself.
Well, my journey in the music began basically, I was about 14 or 15 years, and like just listening to a lot of music, like let's say, well, mainly reggae music, which my father mostly played when I was younger, and that was sort of like a very big inspiration for me. It made me develop a liking and a love and appreciation for the music. Yeah, so from developing that liking and the love for the music, I discovered that I had a hidden talent, because it's like I would be in school always looking for a pen and pencil on the desk and so on. Then one day, I think it was in the year 1998 or so, I got introduced to a group of guys in Bath Estate, like some friends of mine. I had already. We were in a young band called FX Band, where my drum set was practically made up of butter container, cheese tin, and those things. I even had a makeshift bass drum, which a partner of mine, Baba, said made for me with a jerry can, like a gas jerry can, and it made like a foot pedal. So I basically decided to drum on this. Then I got introduced to some guys who were part of a band called Juveniles. That was Geoffrey, Oliver, a bass man, I think his name was Bill. Yeah, so then I came to one of their practices, and like I just went on the drum set because the drummer wasn't at the time, and they asked me if I know a zouk song. So I told them that in passing on the road, like I heard them playing, I heard them practicing a few times and so on. So like, well, again, the liking for the music, it stayed in my head and so on. So I got on a drum set, which that drum set, the two toms, they were on the folding chairs, and I didn't have a bass drum. And my hi-hat pedal, my hi-hat stand, sorry, it didn't even have a pedal. So I had to, what we call, improvise. I had to put my foot on like the rod to get both my open hi-hat and my crash. I had no cymbals at the time. So we started this song, I knocked my stick beside this song. Halfway into the intro of this song, it's like Geoffrey and Oliver was like, no, stop. You are the drummer now. And that's when I became the drummer for Juveniles. Then we began to play all over Soufriere, Portsmouth, country, all of the countryside in town at that time, like they had that spot called Ruins, but it was like how it is now because it was more of like a downstairs abandoned area where people would come and just mingle with each other, listen to us play and so on. We even played at Rivers International up in Portsmouth. Yeah. And then I got introduced to WCK, Rory him and those bands. PIK. I played with PIK a lot. I played with Impromptu Band a lot, all in Sailors and those places. Then I played with Roy on the road for Carnival, Curl Festival. I played WCK on the road. Then after I got introduced to Michael Henderson, Ophelia Mari, Gordon Henderson, within the years of 2000 onwards to 2006 up to this day, I still gig with those bands and so on. Then I got introduced to Triple K like maybe 2004, 2005. Like I did 1-2 gigs with Triple K, and then I joined Triple K. I think it was 2006.
My journey for music actually began at church. Love for drums and keyboards actually started playing at a very young age of 7. Elisha Darampo, may he continue to rest in peace, actually taught me the basics on keyboards. And of course, a guy named Thomas taught me the basics on drums. May he too rest in peace. And from there on, I continue playing music, enjoying music. That of Steel Balls is my favorite reggae band, and that of WCK, where my neighbor, who is the original W for WCK, played in at the time, with Wackers. And so my love for music actually continued growing from there, wanting to basically mimic what they did. Of course, the likes of Derek Rapiters, and then Philadelphia, Marshall Montano of Trinidad, Edwin Yearwood of Barbados, and so on. So I think my music actually stemmed from there, the love actually stemmed from there. And with Triple K, it came automatic, because I went to work on the ship in 2000, and on my return on vacation, actually playing music on the ship. On my return on vacation, I met a good friend of mine who actually played in the earlier band with me in Fongole, or a band called Ruthless. And he told me he was now a member of Triple K and so on. And he told me I should come around and hang around, and then I did just that. And automatic, it was a love bound funk.
Well, my journey with Triple K is a very interesting one. First of all, I started off as just a regular fan of the band from the days played on the ports, and also when they played at the Garaway Hotel. That was when the band was really starting to pick up its momentum. It was in the days of Garaway Hotel and Fortune Hotel on a Friday and a Saturday, respectively. So because of their style at the time, I gravitated towards the band because I liked the energy, I liked the type of music that they were playing, especially how we used to call it back then, the Lao Tao type of style that they had. I gravitated towards that. I mean, I literally used to just leave work in my tie and go straight to Garaway in my tie for me to enjoy some of what Triple K had to offer on those Friday nights. And I became friends with two of the members at the time, which were Benji and Gaff Jemot. These were the two guys that I knew off the bat, and every time I would see them, I'd be like, boy, that band deadly, boy, that band tight, and thing, and I would always follow them. Even when they would play out of town, I used to find myself on their bus to go out of town with them for the events that they would do. And I guess in that enthusiasm and passion and love that I had for the band at the time, some of the members, I would say, recognized that, okay, this guy is a serious fella, and had a sense of loyalty towards the band. So when the opportunity came, because their previous road manager, which was who we refer to as Lepto, or Albert Noel, who was one of the management members of the band at that time, was moving on to some other phases of his life. And then there was that void that needed to be filled, or vacancy, I would say, that became available. And the guys among themselves had a meeting or a discussion as to who they felt could have filled that role at the time. And I believe it was Benji was the one who recommended that, hey, but James is always be first, James know the vibes of the band, so let's give him a try. So it really began as what people would look at it as on the road as the water boy, because essentially the role was really just to ensure that they had water on stage, you know, when they performed and whatnot. But again, I did the role with so much enthusiasm that it elevated to what I am now, which is the road manager, which entails a lot more now, you know, looking at the band performances, the setup, ensuring that promoters adhere to the contracts that they sign, and when needs be, collect the dough at the end of the performance and stuff like that. I'm getting them ready for the performances, letting them know the logistics of what it is the performance entails and what they need to do and stuff like that. So it elevated into to that, and I became that and event coordinator for sure. So when the band decides to put on its own events like Mega Monday, I would be instrumental in the preparation and the organization of such events. And that has really been how I evolved into my place and position within TK International right now.
I started as a towing engineer. Well, I was actually an engineer for WCK, Relive International. I also played bass for Relive International. And I started going on tour. They requested my services for some years on tour as an engineer, and then due to some circumstances I had to end up leaving my engineering post and take up the role of being a bass player. That was it from the process.
My musical journey, I would dare say, started when I was about a year or two. I think that was when my mom in particular saw my interest in music, because I would basically take a whole kitchen and turn it into a drum set. So all pots and pans would get blows, you know. And she decided, okay, these drums I want to beat. She got a little goat skin drum for me when I was about like 4 years, and decided, well, yeah, I can start that, you know, do that thing there. And when I was about 7, I enrolled in the Valina later music school. That's where I formally got training into playing piano. So I got formal training in classical piano and started reading music and so on back then. But there was a pivotal moment in my life when WCK released Corn Shell back in 1993, and that just twist my mind. You know, that made me realize, you see that kind of music there, that kind of energy, that kind of drive. The groove of that music is what I want to play. Not necessarily the other music genres are nice, but that one there particularly took me, you know. And from ever since that time, I, you know, started trying to create my own thing under that same umbrella. Not really knowing what it was at the time. Actually, the term Bouyon wasn't even coined at the time, but it was just a stepping stone for me to be able to understand, you know, what it is to create something homegrown. And then with a few of my friends from back, well, friends on my street, particularly Oliver Severin, we started playing together, you know, music and stuff, and we started also linking with other friends of ours going to school, Marlon Murray and other guys, you know, trying to do stuff together. So we created a new little band called Jan's Band. It was a mix of guys from around the area, and the name Jans was an acronym for Juveniles at Near Stardom. So that was the name of the band. And we had a fallout with one of the members because of some circumstances. So we decided we were going to rebrand to Juveniles Band. So for a few years, the band was there doing its thing, you know, trying to build up itself. We started doing small recordings and stuff with a guy named Bouyon Norville, who also had another band, a radiation band and so on at the time. And we started building up ourselves. And we started getting recognition. That's the guys that were playing from other more established bands. By that time, we had Jason Froggy Joseph, who's now a member of TK, and Daniel Philip Brochet, who's also a member of TK, working with Juvenile's band. So they started, well, actually Daniel was the engineer, Froggy was the drummer. And we started doing stuff. And the other more established groups on the island started recognizing our talent. And Froggy got a lot of opportunities to perform with WCK and other bands. And I got opportunities to perform with Wasin Warriors at the time, and also Partners in Crime. And during that transition period, I was approached by Raw Rhythm, which was one of the premier bands at the time because they consisted of the two major players in Bouyon music, which were Derek Rapiters from WCK fame and Rowan Williams from the first Serenade. So the two guys had their band and they asked me to come and play with them. So in 2001 was when I joined Raw Rhythm and stayed with them for a couple of years and so on. And the band kind of went off tangent. So when we were on tour actually, and when I returned, I think a day or two after my return, I was approached by the former bass player of Triple K band, that's Gav Jemot. And he said, yo, we're looking for keyboardists, you know. I said, all right, cool. And that was it, you know, so I went up, and that was my induction into Triple K band back in 2004.
Well, I started on Ecstasy, and that was a few years back. I started. I was playing another band before I came up with Ecstasy. When Ecstasy came about, you know, the type of music that we play, you know, a lot of people were like, oh, you know, for young people to be playing that kind of music, and then, you know, the experience started coming, and then I was exposed to then coming to the studio to do a comp or one of the songs with Triple K. And then, you know, little work started happening, coming and play on one or two songs for them for Carnival. And then that's just how it happened.
Well, how I started in music basically was, I was a guy that, you know, in growing up, loved to sing a lot. And I used to live in Guadeloupe with my mother, and I used to play a lot of Kassav music and Michael Jackson music. And my mother used to give me a lot of blues for that, especially when she go to work and the French people around used to call her and tell her, hey David, tu as fait un paquet de désordre là, aujourd'hui là, jouer musique, oui, danser, tout bagaille. And my mother used to come and beat me with alcohol in the bottle, soup spoon, whatever my mother used to swing behind me. And it's like, it's what I've become today. And now she's appreciating what I have become and what I'm doing, which is music, which is the backbone of my income. All right, well, what led me to join Triple K was, I used to play in a band before Triple K. It was Geoffrey, Froggy, and another guy called Bertie. You know Bertie that used to engineer for WCK. These guys, we were a band named Juveniles in Bath Estate. Because I was living in town, I lived in town for like 11 years, and then after a while, there was this guy managing Triple K, which was, his name was Marshall, and the bassman, the current bassman, the original bassman of Triple K was his brother. And then he came to me in town and he told me, but Tazi, oh, we can have a band Loda, and you're from Loda, and you're in a band in Rosona. So I came up, I went up to Loda to check the guys, and then I saw the guys, like, you know, as in town, and we had keyboard, we had drum set, we had everything. And when I went up to Loda, the guys, Triple K had a drum, but made out of steel frame, bed frame, and cloth and shack kind of thing. And I checking like, what? Nah, that's not the place I need to be now. I need to be back in town where they have real drum set and stuff. And then I left and go back down to town. And then after a while, I came back and checked the guys, and then that was it, Tazi, Triple K.
These early encounters with music shaped not only their lives, but also the future of Dominica's Bouyon music scene. From each individual journey, a shared mission evolved to make music that could move hearts, feet, and an entire culture. But every artist stands on the shoulders of those who came before. For the members of Triple K, inspiration came from many places: local legends, international superstars, and the everyday rhythms of life in Dominica.
My musical inspiration, I have to say, was Cornell. I literally sat on the, they were playing, they used to have, where right to the cigarette factories there. During Independence, that is where, you see how we have Independence jump up now, but I think during Independence used to have, like they used to set up there, like a container used to set up there, and they used to play there with what they call a system, and I was a little boy and I remember me sitting down underneath Cornell keyboard watching him. So I sit down and I looking at him. I did that for a long time, for years. I used to have like the dominoes, your dominoes. I stacking them up on a box and pulling them on a little toy truck, and I marking WCK in that, and I pull in that and I check, yeah, WCK. So yeah, it had to be WCK and Cornell. And out of Bouyon music, Fitzroy Williams. Very much like how Fitzroy Williams used to play. And after Fitzroy Williams, sort of bits and pieces from everywhere in terms of style of playing and whatnot. Stevie Wonder and a lot of compa music. So I incorporated a lot of the style of how they used to play their compa into how I'd make a lead for one of my songs. So it's a wide range.
A musical inspiration, there's no choice of words, there's no looking for that. Derek Rapiters, the king of the Bouyon music, as I always give respect to Derek Rapiters and Eric Badwill of First Serenade, because Derek Rapiters is basically the original creator of Bouyon music. And in growing up, it have people that you have to look up to in certain things that you want to be positive, not negative. And for me, it was all about Derek Rapiters, and here I am, 49 years next month, hopefully God's willing, and I'm still looking up to Derek Rapiters. Outside of Bouyon music, well, the king is dying, king of pop, Michael Jackson.
Okay, so my musical inspiration in the Bouyon music, I know that everyone has the debates on that, but just to clear the air, it was Pelham John Baptist. The moment I saw, well, as a young boy listening to WCK, Effects, RS Bandos Band, First Serenade, there was this event in People's Park, formerly known as a Dollar Jam. And as I see again, because of my liking and my loving for the music, is like, I just stood up on the side of the stage and was just looking at the band. Then what captivated me more was the tone of the drum set. At that time it was an electric drum set called a Roland V drums. And I was like just amazed at the tone of the drum set. And then I just fell in love with that tone and told myself, that's my instrument. Man, outside of the Bouyon, I have a lot of inspiration, because I have that appreciation for a lot of different styles of music. Classic music, alternative music, rock and roll especially, which I used to practice a lot, especially when I bought my first drum set. In terms of drummers, there are Carter Beauford, Taylor Hawkins, Dennis Chambers, Tony Royster. Yeah, I'm not forgetting Trey Cool of the Green Day Band, and David Silvera of Korn, legendary rock band.
So outside of Bouyon music, it was, as Ecstasy played the genre, it is Haitian compa music. It was heavily driven by Carry Me. Bouyon music, before we got the name Ecstasy, actually our name was Triple H. We were really watching Triple K back then, that was, and WCK as well. And musicians, it was, at the time, when Triple K used to play compa music, and I love the guitar, but I was wondering who that used to play the guitar and so on for Triple K. But really and truly, it was actually Kendall playing the guitar on the keyboard. And then I just developed that kind of a liking and everything for Triple K. Then we got the name, That's where it came out, as I said previously. Our name was Triple H, before we got the name Ecstasy.
Musical inspiration as a band, WCK. As musicians, Keith Goddard of WCK, Freddie Nicholas of Dominica and Grandmax fame and so on. And out of Dominica, we have our artist Marshall Montana. And we have a variety of reggae artists and so on and so forth.
My biggest inspiration outside of the Bouyon genre would be Onion. I think his writing skills and his melodies have always attracted me. He has always impressed me, you know, in that kind of way, because certain things that you never think of him putting together a song about a particular topic, or the melody that he would use, the way that he would craft it together to build a song. It really impressed me, and I just love all Onion music from way back to current, even what he's doing right now. But in terms of Bouyon music itself, Derek Ra Peters is one of the people that has, and I would say, an indelible print in my whole Bouyon music career. Because I think his antics, his style, the little, some people might call it nonsense, but the little things that Ra would say on a regular, in a jam, in a song, you know, you have to really sit down and study that man and study what he's saying and really figure out what are really happening. And because of that, it's like, it wasn't just this flat presentation. Yes, this is what I'm giving you. You always have to try to find the storyline behind the storyline that he was presenting to you. So for that, he was always, you know, I always looked up to him for that.
These influences aren't just the foundation of their music. They're the spark that keeps it evolving, fresh and uniquely theirs. And every journey has its moments of magic, those times when everything comes together and the dream feels real. For Triple K International, those early days were filled with passion, determination, and moments that would stay with them forever.
I think my most memorable wouldn't have been the most popular one, but it was when we got our first invite to play on World Creole Music Festival, and we had no idea what to do. I mean, it's not like now, I mean, Creole Festival, you could just have one song and you're on Creole Festival. No, it's changed. Good and bad, kudos to everybody that can do it, but back when we just started, you mad? You think you go to Creole Festival with 3 songs? No, sir. But things changed, so that was maybe my most memorable. And maybe my second most memorable was when we got our first call to play outside of Dominica. Back then, it was, the excitement was more surreal. The fact that people are not seeing you on social media because there was no social media. You know, so for them to be calling you from your country to come play in another country, it's like someone heard your song on a CD or something, and it went from house to house and a radio station to radio station, and everybody's like excited. They want to see who they're playing that song, and then you go. Like right now, you can just and 10,000 people see you, and boom, you're gonna play next day. You know, so it's the experience back then. So me saying our first trip was exciting for me, as opposed to somebody right now saying their first trip exciting. It's two different things. Yeah.
To be honest, all moments are memorable. Up to this day, this band is just undescribable. Everything is just, I mean, things happen on the spot that just catch your attention.
My most memorable moment would have to be when we traveled to Belgium. I think we were the first local Bouyon band to travel Europe, and being on a grand stage where Beyonce had just finished performing, and you stepped in right after, meant a lot to me. And that's my most memorable moment performing in Triple K for the past 20 years.
We had so many memories. I mean, 20 years, you can imagine the number of things that we have gone through and places, you know, and things that we have. But I would want to say my most memorable moment was an evening that we spent as a band emotionally regrouping. It is not an easy task to continue with the same group of fellas for all those years, with different personalities, with different, different viewpoints and so on. And for any organization to really move forward properly, you have to be able to understand each other on an emotional level. And I think the band was getting to a point where we had to have, if you want to call it a powwow, and we decided that we were going to take a bold step and have an emotional night off. To unleash our emotions, to unleash our stuff, but then as a means of seeing how we can re-energize ourselves. And that night, the amount of tears that were shed, you know, among grown men, you know, and the fellows were just free to express themselves and to give, you know. And I think that night stands out as a moment where I can see that this organization of Triple K is not just, yeah, we play music together. That is the surface level. Triple K is so much deeper than just playing music together. I think we have all connected on a deeper level, and that night was really a time when I think it brought to the fore the fact that, you know, we're doing this for life. We have dedicated our lives to this, and this is our family outside of our home. So I think that's probably the most memorable. Outside of all the fun, exciting tours and, you know.
Well, I remember it was kind of sad, but it's one I will never forget. I remember when I got introduced to the band and I had to do my first event overseas. I had anxiety attack where I was like, if it's for real, because I never once imagined that would have happened, because I used to be on the side of the road carnival and I used to just look up on the truck and be like, one day I'll be up there. And then to see, I mean, it took some years, but it's like the fact that it's already happening, it was like just the other day. So I used to be like, you know, and then when I really got the call that, you know, it's Antigua Carnival, we're going to Antigua Carnival and we're going to Anguilla. And then they made preparations where Ecstasy was playing back in Dominica, where they could have fly me back to Dominica to play and fly me back to meet them in Anguilla. It was really nice. That is why I believe the anxiety, because it's like, I just started, I was humble, I am still humbled, but it was like, you know, you start thinking like you're a big musician now, because, you know, so that is one of my most memorable moments.
To me, every moment is memorable. But I can't even start. And if I have to start, then I don't finish. So, one of my previous memorable occasions is Juve, Carnival Juve of last year. That is 2023. Yeah, Juve of Carnival 2023. I actually broke down in tears on the truck coming into town. Seeing that. I personally put so much to get that sound system going on, so, and then when we reached in town, you know, I was welcomed by so much fans that stayed there waiting for us. And then actually I stood by myself, I said a prayer, and upon saying that prayer, I just broke down in tears. The band had to stop and console me and so forth.
I have been with TK for the past 16 years, so I would say my first real involvement with the band, being part of the band, came all the way back in 2008. And fun fact, I danced for Triple K at the Creole Festival doing Yeel and Two with another friend of mine. They needed dancers to do a cultural dance for one of the songs for the Creole Festival performance, and that is how that whole thing began as well, that I danced for them twice on Creole Festival stage.
My most memorable moment, meeting these guys, the Triple K guys. To me, I always see Triple K as not like a band. I always see Triple K like something that God has put together. You know, it's like a relationship. You always have ins and outs, problems there and there, but yet still, you still remain the same. The love is always there.
These moments aren't just memories. They're the foundation of a legacy, a reminder of why they began this journey and why they continue to push forward. The roots of Triple K run deep, grounded in the passion of its members, the culture of Dominica, and the enduring power of music. As we'll see, this is just the beginning of their incredible story. In the next chapter, we'll dive into the world of Bouyon music, a genre that Triple K has not only embraced but redefined. Stay tuned as we explore the rhythm, the culture, and the heartbeat of Dominica. Celebrating the rhythms of Triple K, 25 years of Bouyon beat.